Hello everyone and welcome back to my official The GH24 News YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In their room at the Quartermaine manse, Chase asks what Brooke Lynn means when she says she had a baby. She says she had a baby in High Academy and gave it up for relinquishment. Only her mama knows, and not indeed the baby's father knows. She says she's sorry she no way told him. It was such a strange time for her. She was alarmed and knew she wasn't ready to be a mama. Chase understands as she was only a sprat. She was thankful that her mama stepped up for her. Chase asks if it was a hard decision to make. Brooke Lynn says she wasn't going to terminate the gestation, but she came to the decision to put the baby up for relinquishment snappily. Still, she didn't want the rest of her family to find out, and she was overwhelmed as is and didn't need judgment from her family. She says she went on stint with her mama, and Lois made all the arrangements. She no way indeed saw her baby. Chase realizes she doesn't know if she had a boy or a girl and how hard it must have been for her. She's shocked and asks, "Aren't you angry with me?" Chase says he's not angry at her at each. She feels she prevaricated to him, but Chase says all she did was keep part of her once private. He says it's her history, and it happened to her, so she chooses who she shares it with. She can't believe he's not worried, as so numerous of their problems have been because of her falsehoods. He again says it was a taradiddle, but asks why she told him now. She explains she couldn't let him keep beating himself up about her no way passing gestation, and she's just kept this buried for so long. He thanks her for participating this with him. Brooke Lynn says she loves him and trusts him with her life. He tells her, "Right back at you." They kiss. They snuggle in bed, and she feels stupid for not telling him sooner. She was hysterical of how he'd reply. He asks if she judges herself. She says she gave up her baby to give him or her a better life. He wonders if she ever allowed about chancing them. She's not sure that would be fair to them, but he believes having her in their life could only make it better. He says it's her decision, but if she wants to find her baby, he'll help her. In the kitchen, Tracy tells Sasha she wants to go over the sanitarium fundraiser menu and would like a mug of tea. Sasha gets on it and lets Tracy know a PI has been poking around, and she thinks the PI is looking for dirt on Michael. She suppositions she's working for Willow's counsel. Tracy says, "Good conjecture, and thank for the intel." Sasha can tell Tracy is holding commodity back, so ask it. Tracy asks if her baby is Jason's, will they be getting wedded? Sasha assumes she wants to know if she's looking to make her baby in sanctioned Quartermaine. Tracy says she happened to get pregnant not just by a Quartermaine, but the favorite. No matter what he did, her mama adored Jason, and Monica loves him. Sasha states she wants nothing from the Quartermaines and wants to raise her baby on her own. Tracy says the fact is the baby is a Quartermaine if Jason is the father. At Drew's, Jason wants to call for armistice to recognize Sam and for their kiddies. Drew wonders what has changed. Jason says Danny and Scout are siblings and need one another, so they must work together for the kiddies. Drew says he's always wondered what if Susan Moore chose him over Jason. He'd have been raised a Quartermaine and had a family. He'd have loved to have had what Jason had, and all Jason did was hurt their parents over and over. Now, Jason wants to come back to the family, so be it. Drew says he'll be then with Scout, and Jason can have the Quartermaines. Jason can't believe he'd keep Scout from her family. Drew says he's Scout's father, and he'll do what's stylish for her. Drew says Scout will have him, Willow and her kiddies, and that's all she needs. He says he did everything for the Quartermaines, and they turned their tails on him the nanosecond he did commodity for himself. Drew says he has the Q name and plutocrat, so he doesn't need the family that goes with it. He also throws this hitman out. Jason returns home and enters the Quartermaine kitchen to find Tracy pressing Sasha. Sasha breaks and tells Tracy, yes, Jason is the father. Are you happy? She storms out, and Tracy looks at Jason and says, I guess congratulations are in order. She hopes he's not planning on moving out. He assures her he's not, as this is Danny's home, and he needs stability. She's glad he's prioritizing his family and showing fidelity to this family because he's one of them. Jason suggests perhaps not one she'll want around as Drew is coming after him. Tracy notes Drew is coming for all of them and likely convinced Willow to hire the PI. Jason knows the PI is trying to find commodity on Michael, and Drew thinks the family has turned against him. Tracy says that makes him the adversary, and she's so glad he's then. She welcomes Jason home. At the sanitarium, Isaiah tells Lucky's family that he's stable, but they don't yet know how important digitalis he was given. They're covering him. Laura asks if they can see him. Isaiah says they can, and Laura tells Liz and Aiden to go first. Isaiah takes them to his room. In his room, Portia tells Lucky to hang in there. Liz and Lucky visit Lucky, who's hooked up to observers and tubes. Liz thanks him for saving her life, and Aiden tells his pater. Now he just has to wake up. Aiden admits it's been great having his pater back, so he has to wake up. Suddenly, the observers begin to phone. In the hall, Laura tells Lulu about Cyrus' part in her liver failure, and she feels shamefaced as he's her family. Lulu tells her mama that none of this is her fault. Lulu says she woke up because of the response to the medicine, so without Cyrus, she wouldn't have woken up. At the same time, Sam would still be then if Cyrus no way did what he did. Laura tells Joss not to condemn herself, as this is all on Cyrus, who no way should have been let out of captivity. Aiden and Liz appear, and Laura can see commodity is wrong. Liz tells them Lucky's heart stopped again. Aiden cries, "My pater is dying." In Lucky's room, Isaiah and Portia work to save Lucky with the paddles and condensing. Latterly, Portia goes out and tells the family that they got Lucky back and that he's going to be okay. She says he still has a long way to go, but the peril is over. Isaiah sits with Lucky and tells him he doesn't know what he'd have done if he lost him, indeed though he can be a massive pain in the burrow. His family soon visits him and urges him to wake up as they need him. Away, Dante and Anna wonder why Cyrus is headed down Route 41 as there's nothing out there. Dante asks why Cyrus went after Liz. Anna explains she and Lucky set up substantiation that Cyrus was the killer, and he admitted everything to Liz before trying to attack her. Dante says they eventually got him, and he can run, but he can't hide. Dante asks why Cyrus was killing these people. Anna explains he called it a godly charge to release trapped souls, and Dex and Sam got in his way. Jordan latterly informs Anna and Dante that she has learned Cyrus has a decades-old family connection to the Gatlins. Anna asks if that could be Austin, who was boggled, and the case was no way answered. Anna makes calls to find out if Austin owns any parcels hard. She latterly gets a call back and an address near Route 41, where Cyrus was headed. Dante asks Jordan to keep them streamlined on Lucky, and he and Anna take off. At the cabin, Jack asks Joss to hand him the armament, and she does. Jack checks for a palpitation, and Cyrus is dead. Joss swears he was going to kill her. Jack knows, as he was outdoors and saw it. He asks if she called anyone differently, and Joss hasn't. Jack says they've a small window to cover this up. Joss asks if they aren't going to call the police. Jack says they could, or they could take care of this themselves. Jack asks where Joss got the gun. Joss explains it's Dex's. She cries that everyone knows she abominated Cyrus and believed he killed Dex, so who'll believe this was tone defense? Jack admits it'll be tough to argue in a court of law. He says if he gets involved, nothing must know, not indeed her mama. She says she can stay quiet, so he tells her they're leaving. She says, "What about my fingerprints?" He tells her they're leaving and nothing can know she was ever then. Jack takes Joss to his office and orders her to go to the restroom and shower. He says leave everything behind she owns, including her phone. He says there'll be a change of clothes for her. He also wipes the gun clean. Joss heads into the restroom and relives shooting Cyrus. She runs to the restroom and pukes. She also showers, but keeps flashing back, killing Cyrus. In his office, Colette arrives, and Jack fills her in that Cyrus is dead, and he'd no idea Joss had a gun on her. He says she only called him, so he's going to cover this up. Colette says there's a problem. Cyrus attacked Liz and Lucky tonight, and there's an APB out on him. It wouldn't take Anna long to detect Cyrus' cabin. She also fears Joss wouldn't keep quiet, as she's a sprat, and she'll want to tell someone. He tells Colette to leave Joss to him. She needs to get a platoon to clean up the cabin and make everything disappear, except for one thing. Jack bags the gun and stashes it a press. Joss comes out of the restroom, and she asks what happens now. He asks if she told anyone where she went tonight or about the address. She didn't, and asks why he gave her the address. He says she set this in stir the night he asked for footage of Dex. She reminds him that got her nowhere, as there was no footage. He admits there was, and shows her a print of Cyrus attacking Dex. She asks why he didn't go to the police. He wanted to see what she'd do. Joss asks if he's playing a game with her, because he's into her mama. Jack insists this has nothing to do with Carly, it's all about her. He says she's special, she has all the rates to make an exceptional WSB agent. He wants her to come one of them. Joss thinks this was all a setup, and he got her to kill Cyrus to hold it over her head and force her to join the WSB. Jack says he didn't know she had access to a gun, but she brought it with her. Why? She says to cover herself, but that doesn't make her an asset. He says it does. She shields and protects herself not by hiding, but by acting.